Good afternoon. How's everyone?
Good.
Good. Doing well. Thank you. Two preseason games under our belt. Very happy with the effort. We obviously know we still got a long way to go, but this week is a big week for our football team. With Cincy coming to town with the joint practices. Flus, Zach Taylor, and Darren Simmons have been absolutely phenomenal setting up and coordinating these practices, these joint practices, so we get to maximize our evaluation process. So, with that, we'll open it up to questions.
Should know what Josh Blackwell has meant to you since he got here. When you are assessing him as a potential punt returner, what do you see in him that jumps out at you?
First thing I see with Blackwell is that he's fearless, and he's a very smart, cerebral player, and he wants to do everything right. So we're just trying to give him an opportunity along with other guys, so we can see what we have just in case we need to go that route. So.
Anything from Saturday that jumped out at you with the opportunity he had to get free a little bit?
Yeah, I think the guys outside in the Vice, they did a phenomenal job. Defense stopped them obviously there, and then the Vice did a phenomenal job giving Josh, room to run, and that was an explosive in the game. Anything 20 yards or more, we consider an explosive on punt return. So that was outstanding and a really good job by the unit there.
Have the Bengals and Bears coaching staffs addressed the possibility of inclement weather tomorrow? What you would do? Or?
Yeah, we have. Flus is on top of that. He's all over it. So he has a plan for it, and uh, he has a good plan for it. So, yeah, they talked about it, and we've discussed it, and we're good to go.
Assuming you've watched, what type of adjustments have you had to make with Scales being out, and what can you tell us about Cam?
Yeah, Cam is doing a really good job. Cam will tell you, it's been some really good, and then there have been some things that he really wants to work on. We do feel like Scales is trending in the right direction, so we're happy with his rehab and everything that he's doing. And Cam's getting an opportunity. And what I've told Cam is you need to take full advantage of your opportunity because it's not only us watching your tape, there's 31 other teams watching your tape. And you gotta bust your tail to make sure that you put a product on film that you're proud of. And we're gonna continue to help him work on that and continue to try to improve him.
Speaking of taking advantage of an opportunity, you probably know Bayless better than anyone in this building over the last couple years that he's been here. What about his personality embraces this opportunity now to move into the backfield and try something different to find his place on this team?
Yeah, he's always been a guy that will do anything that the coaches ask him to do, and he's more than willing to play any different position on special teams and anywhere. He's always been that way. So it's been exciting to see him with the ball in his hands because he's a dynamic player. We all know that with the ball in his hands, he is dangerous. And I'm happy that the kid is embracing that role and carrying our Bears essentials and values like we would like him to.
I assume you've watched the kickoff returns throughout the league after the preseason week. What stood out? Anything surprised you just about watching them?
Yeah, just really looked at it and we studied every single one of them. We broke them all down like we were playing them. Coach has done a great job doing that. Coach Polk and Coach Blevins done a great job breaking all that stuff down for us. And what we noticed is the return rate has spiked. It's two things really, two major things. We had an 80% return rate during the first week versus what was 22% return rate. And the other thing that has really stood out to us is the starting yard line after kickoff. It is 29-yard line, and that is the highest it's been since 2000. So those are the two things that are really standing out to us, which will affect your in-game strategy as you go forward.
As you guys continue to work on the dynamic kickoff and make tweaks, how many tweaks are you making now compared to, are you waiting to make any tweaks until the regular season starts and teams start laying more of their cards on the table?
Yeah, when it comes to that, I think there's a lot of strategy that hasn't played out to the public yet, and probably is not going to play out until the season. Right now, in preseason, most teams are trying to get an evaluation on guys, so you're going to see a lot of man-on-man returns, like mano-a-mano, one-on-one, to get a good evaluation to see if a guy can block a guy in space and see if a guy can, disengage off a block and go make a tackle. So it's going to be very vanilla, and there's a lot that hasn't played out to the public yet, but it's a very competitive and strategic play. I think that's going to help the game for sure.
Coach, if the starting field position is the 29 and the penalty for a touchback is the 30, are you worried at all we're just going to end up seeing more touchbacks once we get to the regular season?
No, I don't think so. I think special teams coaches, and I think if we're just talking about special teams coaches, I can't tell you what head coaches will want. You talk about special teams coaches and special teams players, coordinators, special team coordinators and coaches, and returners and kickers, and everyone that's playing on that play. They don't want to see a touchback. So I think you'll see coverage, and I think you'll see some excitement, and I think you'll see this dynamic kickoff be a difference. I mean, it's better. I mean, I know Shane rather call plays from the 50. He's a much better offense coordinator calling plays from the 50 than he is from the 10. And everybody is, you know.
What happened with the Chiefs and the ball and the kickoff that was downed in the end zone for safety? And is that a scenario that is very rare, will happen, or what was the lesson there, I guess?
Yeah, I guess the lesson there is we're very fortunate, really, honestly, with that lesson because that crew is here. Trey Blake and his crew, they're here. They're in the meetings. We talked at length about that play, and there's still some things that they're going to talk about with the league as far as that's concerned. But it was a good teaching moment for everyone, and we're fortunate to have them here. So we're doing kickoff return today, as you guys saw, and then they'll be in the meetings this afternoon. And I'll let the league come out with what they thought on that.
What are you hoping to get out of the joint practice tomorrow from a special teams standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just really looking forward to working on different situations. As I stated earlier, Darren's been phenomenal. He's been there decades, multiple decades. Darren's an outstanding coach, and he's been a pleasure to work with. But working different situations, working different areas of the field, and having uh, a competitive and a structured and controlled environment is what I'm looking to get. And really in joint practices, those reps are invaluable because you're getting to go against a different skill set and a different team. So we're looking forward to good, clean competition.
The diagrams that are in the end zone, is that a punt blocking plane?
Oh no, in the D line end zone.
There was that one, but then on field one, at least earlier in camp.
Yeah, I believe that's for the O line and D line. I think it's a D line grid. Yep.
To my knowledge, Torrey hasn't been to Soldier Field before.
Yes. You know we don't do that. Of course he's been there. Yeah, he's been there.
Yeah, and
Yep.
what is there anything he needs to know about kicking there? And I understand that, I mean, kicking in August is very different than kicking in November, December.
Yeah, he's been there. He's been there, and he has a feel for the stadium, and obviously he doesn't have a feel for a stadium in a competitive live situation. So that's going to be exciting to see. But I was happy and pleased with what Torrey put on tape. He had the one punt at the 6 or 5 yard line, and the other punt out of bounds at the 10. So he is doing exactly what we want him to do, and then we still got a long way to go because we want more. We're always going to push for more. So. And he wants more. I mean, he's highly competitive. He was not happy with the game he had. He was okay with it, but he thinks he can do better.
Why was it important for you guys to get him down there before the preseason games started?
Well, it's just my coaching philosophy. It's just how I was raised and I was blessed because I worked under two 30-year veterans as a young special teams coach. Joe Marciano and Danny Smith. They taught me that you never want a player to be in a situation that he hasn't been in on game day, like because that's wrong. And you never put players in a situation that they haven't been in. So we cross train everybody and we try to put them in different situations because when it's game time, it's time to go. It should not be I thought or I didn't know or I had never been in that position or I had no idea. That's bad coaching.
Coach, Ryan's been building this roster over the last few years. We've all seen the roster get deeper and deeper, but as a special teams coordinator, in what ways have you felt that depth specifically in this training camp?
Yeah, it's just more competition, when you're trying to spread out the reps. And that's a really good way to think about it and look at it because he has infused talent into this roster. So reps are scarce and you got to take advantage of your op. And if you don't take advantage of your op, somebody else will. And we're going to put that on the board in the meeting room and we're going to let you know who's leading and who had the most catches, who had the most drops, who had the most muffs, who was first down on kickoff, who got the most tackles, who had the most production. And, if that guy's in your position group, then you need to get a little concerned if a guy's in your position group doing better than you. So it's been great competition. Competition brings the best out of all of us. And that's what I love. I thrive on it. I love it to death. I think Poles and his staff are doing a phenomenal job with that.
With the joint practices, what have you learned over time as a coaching staff in terms of maximizing the time that you do have tomorrow to get the most out of it that you wanna get done?
I learned that if both coaches, whatever that is, offense coordinator, defense coordinator going against each other, special teams coordinator, or special teams coordinators going against each other, or head coach, and it usually starts at the top. When those two have a vision and it's organized, which Zach and Flus do, it's so organized. It's one of the most organized uh, leading into it, I feel the most comfortable I've ever felt in a joint practice. And when it's organized that way, then you can get the best out of it because you know it's being coached the same way on both sides. So that's what I've learned. And then when guys you coaching against another guy and guys trying to have an ulterior motive, or players are pushing and then you don't get what you're supposed to get out of it. But like I'm excited for this one.
To that end, there's always an emphasis on avoiding altercations. Is the emphasis any greater now since there's already been a couple of incidents already at joint practices in the league?
I know for us, like that's Flus's rule anyway, whether we have a joint practice or not. So Flus doesn't allow that, and I don't. I'm looking forward to a good, clean practice. Is what I'm looking forward to. Good competition. Thanks. Appreciate it.